In 2029, an unexplained worldwide power failure spread across the planet and triggered long periods of disorder, violence, and the collapse of established systems. Traditional countries gradually lost their structure and authority, and over time they were replaced by many small territories that were organized into separate groups. Each group formed its own rules, symbols, and identity, and they became known as tribes. These tribes fought for supremacy across Europe.
The tribes are fighting mercilessly for supremacy throughout Europe.
In 2074, 3 young members of one such group, Liv, Elia, and Keano, moved through a wide green forest. They trained carefully with knives, repeating controlled movements, while also tracking and hunting animals to survive. During this routine, a sudden explosive sound echoes through the otherwise quiet surrounding. Moments later, a streamlined aircraft trailing a long column of dark smoke loses control and crashes violently into the ground in the distance.
Your right foot, one of your ears next.
Keano immediately wants to approach the crash site and investigate, driven by urgency and curiosity. Liv reacts with visible hesitation and concern, signaling it could be dangerous. Instead of going closer, the 3 decide to return to their settlement while carrying the animal they captured.
Don't be a fool. We need to go and check it out. Straight away.
The initial excitement around their successful hunt, especially the capture of a wolf, quickly fades when Liv's father learns about fallen ship. After considering the situation, he firmly chooses to avoid any involvement with unfamiliar outsiders, emphasizing that their people, the origins, stay separate from external conflicts.
Such things don't exist.
They do. This once crashed at the northern end of the forest.
Elsewhere, the setting shifts to a Germany that appears far more advanced and heavily built up, where a competing group known as the Crows is shown. Their leader, Lord Vavvara, goes to see a well-known Capitan with a magnetic presence, but who also behaves in an unstable, unpredictable way. Vavvara arrives with urgent information and makes it clear the ship that fell from the sky is from Atlantia. She explains that anything Atlantean is rare and powerful, and whoever reaches the wreck first could gain something extremely important.
What could be so important that you would dare to interrupt our little ambiguous? If your mission achieves success, then you will be rewarded.
Later that night, the Origins gather and formally accept Elia into the group, marking the moment alongside recognition of the completed hunt.
Carry our mark with pride and a sense of responsibility.
The next morning, the Origins reach the crash site before anyone else. 2 members, Jakob and Mark, stand close to the wreck and talk through what they are seeing, trying to understand the strange materials and the engineering behind it. While they focus on the ship, Elia notices something else nearby, a small cube-shaped object lying on the ground that looks unnatural and unfamiliar.
What on earth is that thing?
Maybe it's one of those drones from before.
He picks it up, studies it briefly, then hides it inside his clothing, as if he already senses it should not be seen. He leaves the wreck area with Liv and Keano, and on the way they take a short detour to a rough shrine built as a reminder of the world that existed before everything collapsed.
Elia, let's go.
Inside the simple shelter are scattered traces of the past that survived. Old markings and leftover items offer fragments of memory, and writing on the walls points to an event called Black December, dated back to 2029, tying the place to the time when the blackout first happened. As Elia moves around the area, he suddenly hears harsh coughing and choking sounds nearby. He turns and finds an injured pilot who speaks English, badly hurt and smeared with blood. The pilot is terrified and begs Elia to keep his location secret, sounding desperate while also fixating on the cube he believes he has lost.
A lot of people are looking for me.
Jakob and Mark continue through the area and come across a Republic outpost that has clearly been abandoned. Elia rushes to grab medical supplies, taking a bundle of bandages from the camp, while keeping the cube hidden among his things. On his way out, Liv notices his behavior and realizes he is hiding something, so she confronts him about the pilot he found.
Just stuff.
Show me the stuff then.
Jakob and Mark search the outpost. At first it looks empty and quiet, but as they go deeper, they see why no one is there. The courtyard is filled with bodies, men and women who have been shot. Among them, they notice one person who is not completely dead yet. Liv, Elia, and Keano return to the pilot and decide not to leave him behind, choosing to bring the injured man back toward their camp.
Take him to the refugium, are you mad?
If he doesn't get help, he will die here. You want that?
Jakob and Mark speak to a man who is barely conscious and can hardly form words, but he manages to tell them the Crows carried out the killings before his strength runs out. Nearby, members of the Crows are already in the area, watching the Origins without being seen. They observe as Liv, Elia, and Keano bring the wounded pilot into their camp and try to keep him hidden.
Who did this to you?
Crows.
Once the pilot is inside, Elia returns the cube to him, giving back what he took earlier. The pilot reacts as if it is far more than a simple object, and it becomes clear the cube contains a message. He explains it as a warning about a serious threat approaching from the east, and he believes that getting the cube back to his people could prevent a disaster. Elia agrees to help. Their plan starts falling apart almost immediately when Jacob arrives and reports that the crows are nearby, actively searching and closing in.
You'll get the answers to your questions.
They're searching for this man. He cannot stay. He must go. Immediately.
The danger turns into direct violence when the crows storm the camp. They open fire and launch a full attack, forcing the Origins to scramble for cover while trying to protect each other under intense pressure. In the chaos, the pilot realizes he will not live long enough to complete his mission.
The Atlantian! Take him and leave!
He forces the cube back into Elia's hands and urgently tells him it will guide him to something called the Ark. He gives quick instructions. Elia must use the cube with an eye-like scanner that will recognize him and then direct him where to go. The pilot is in visible pain and fading fast as the cube fully passes into Elia's control.
The cube will bear with you.
Elia escapes the camp as soon as he can, pushing through the forest toward a nearby settlement. Behind him, the fighting continues, and the others are left trying to survive with very little protection. Elia getting away does not save them. The crows overpower the camp, take control of the area, and round up the settlement's people. One by one, the villagers are seized and held as prisoners.
He's got the cube!
During the takeover, Mark tries to stop Keano from being executed. Desperate, he admits that he and Jakob located the crashed ship, hoping the information will buy Keano time. Instead, it backfires. Mark is killed on the spot for speaking out, and the crows immediately refocus on what they want most, finding the cube at any cost. Later in the forest, Elia runs with the cube, and Liv suddenly opens her eyes. She survived the attack and is still alive. In the ruins of collapsed urban areas, Keano and several captured Origins are transported under heavy guard after their defeat. Treated strictly as prisoners, they are moved deeper into territory controlled by the crows. Elsewhere, Liv remains near the destroyed settlement, tending to the injury she suffered during the attack. She cleans and binds the wound, then moves through the village and witnesses the aftermath of the violence, with the bodies of fallen villagers scattered across the ground. Her reaction is cut short when she hears crow soldiers approaching. Acting quickly, she grabs a crossbow and escapes into the surrounding forest. During her flight, she encounters an English-speaking crow member and manages to overpower her, holding her at knife point. The captive reacts with open amusement, provoking Liv while revealing that the surviving villagers have been taken to Bratok.
I know they're not dead. Where did you take them?
They've been taken to Bratok.
The situation shifts when another armed unit arrives. A group known as the Crimson Guards moves in, wearing military-style uniforms and operating under Commander David Voss. He speaks in both English and German, addressing Liv with calm authority. His controlled tone briefly lowers Liv's resistance, creating an opening that is immediately exploited. A corporal approaches from behind and strikes her with a weapon, knocking her unconscious.
Kill me!
As you don't stand for this kind of violence.
At the same time, Elia's path crosses with a traveling scavenger named Moses. Seeing him as a potential ally, Elia reveals the cube he is carrying. Moses reacts with visible shock and intense interest, fixating on the object and asking to inspect it. Elia hesitates but eventually hands it over. Moses identifies it as an Atlantian cube and quickly recognizes its value, concluding it could be traded for significant wealth. He then takes advantage of the moment, leaving Elia behind and departing alone with the device.
Holy fucking Mary.
What is it?
A real Atlantian cube.
Stop! Hey, stop!
As Crow forces later move through the area, Moses reappears and assists Elia during the confrontation, allowing him to board Moses' transport and avoid capture. Liv awakens in Camp Arenberg, an outpost of the Crimson Republic. The soldiers explain that they were responsible for knocking her out and offer an apology. Liv recounts earlier events, including what she knows about the Atlantean ship that crashed.
They wanted that pilot. The Atlantean.
Once the soldiers grasp the situation, they question her directly about the cube connected to the crash. Liv remains distrustful and claims no knowledge of it. Despite this, she is unwavering about one thing. Her people have been taken to Bratok, and her focus stays on rescuing them.
Bratok is a fortress. that's completely barricaded.
Before taking action, Liv is guided through the camp and shown how the Crimson Guards operate. She learns that they are a strict military organization built on rules and discipline, claiming their structure exists to maintain peace. She also discovers that they trade with various clans as they expand their influence.
Many people from all different tribes join us to fight for a new future and a new European.
Liv is shown a map marking Bratok and the distance required to reach it. The route would take roughly 4 to 5 days on foot, passing through Newlander territory and then Black Skull land. Even if she survives those regions, Crow-controlled areas still surround the city. The implication is clear. Reaching Bratok is dangerous, with no easy path forward.
Tunnels and subways are flooded. Guards are on the barricades 24/7.
Keano and the other captured Origins are eventually brought to Bratok, the central stronghold and capital of the Crow domain, where they are processed, sorted, and confined.
Keep moving.
Despite Moses stepping in earlier, Elia remains distrustful and resentful because of the theft. Moses keeps arguing that the cube is an opportunity, not a burden, insisting that selling it could bring profit and long-term security. Over time, Elia agrees to continue traveling with him, and they move forward in a temporary partnership built on uncertainty rather than trust.
All right, fine. I'm sorry I tried to steal that thing from you.
With a Crow already held prisoner, Liv confronts her, identifying her as Greta, and demands to know why the attack on Little Praha happened. Greta brings up the cube and describes it as something that unlocks major power, treating it as a prize worth killing for. She continues provoking Liv, saying Liv's people will not get a quick or gentle death and will be forced into slave labor. Liv does not back down. She lays out the trade she intends to pursue, making it clear she will use Greta's life as leverage to bargain for the release of the captured villagers.
Before they perish from the poisonous gases, you will get me out of here?
Smart Crow.
Keano and the others begin adjusting to life as slaves in Bratok. They are given new clothes and told what work they will be assigned. Liv tells David that she spoke to the Crow soldier and that the soldier has promised to help her. She asks David to let her go with the soldier in exchange for information about the Crows in the city of Bratok.
Within these walls, you are worth nothing.
You want to enter Bratok, and I want to get my family free from there.
Elijah and Moses continue their journey, talking about Black December and what it meant. Moses says he was there when everything collapsed, and he describes how the global blackout spread and reshaped life everywhere. He believes the Atlanteans caused it. Even so, the Atlanteans remain mostly unknown because no one clearly understands who they are or where they came from. What Moses does know is that many groups are searching for something called the Lost Ark. He believes the cube is tied to it and may contain the clue needed to find it.
On December 2029, everything driven by technology went horribly wrong.
We don't know where they come from?
Youngster, that is the greatest secret ever kept.
Elsewhere, Liv goes into the forest and is overwhelmed by memories of crows killing her people. While she is still stuck in that moment, David approaches her and speaks supportively, offering understanding and saying he will try to help get her family out of Bratok.
And you will get us the information from the captive Crow.
In Bratok, Keano is placed in the slave section and introduced to another prisoner named Linus. Linus tells him he is lucky to be assigned to packaging instead of production, warning that the fumes in production leave people brain dead and dead within weeks.
The fumes eat away at their brains. In a couple of weeks, they're unable to speak anymore.
Later, Liv goes down to the cell to question the captured Crow and tries to learn details about Bratok. She gets small pieces of information, but not enough to form a clear plan for getting inside the city. Because of this, she chooses a different approach. She decides to stage a false escape to win Greta's confidence, pretending she is turning against the Crimson side and wants to join Greta instead. David is uneasy with the idea and doubts it will work.
You follow us with your soldiers. When I have the information, I'll give you a signal and you capture us.
Forget it.
Even with everything suggesting escape is impossible, Keano refuses to give up and keeps searching for any opening. During this time, he learns about a ritual fight called a boj, where two people are forced to battle until one dies. Whoever survives is taken and made into a crow.
A Bosch. A freedom fight. Slave against slave.
Crimson soldiers arrive carrying the dead body of the Atlantean pilot. With the pilot gone and the cube still missing, the situation becomes more urgent. David presses Liv to deliver results fast and orders her to make Greta reveal what she knows. Liv pushes harder, but she goes too far. Greta calls her out as a Crimson, refuses to cooperate, and orders her to leave.
Do you think I'm stupid? What did they promise you?
I am an origine. Get out!
After traveling further, Moses and Elia reach a skilled engineer named Amina. She agrees to work on the cube, but only on the condition that she receives 10% of any profit it generates.
I will help you fix it, but I want something in return. I want 10% of the profits.
Liv tells David she agrees with his plan, but asks to speak with the captured Crow soldier one last time before being removed, hoping to gain her trust. Meanwhile, after an incident involving two Volniks, Keano uses the disruption to pressure Linus into helping him. He convinces Linus to arrange a meeting with Lord Vavvara, believing that speaking directly to her could change his fate.
No way.
I must see Lord Vavvara. Can you organize that?
David finally agrees to move forward with Liv's plan. Liv takes his gun, opens the cell, and releases Greta from the cage. Keeping her under threat, Liv forces a breakout and leaves the camp with the captive Crow under her control.
No tricks.
Amina begins modifying the cube, replacing and adjusting its fusion core. The device reacts immediately, pulsing with a blue glow that signals it is active again.
What? Don't tell me you're searching for the power button.
Okay, you have a go then.
When Elia touches it, the cube appears to awaken further, showing him brief scenes resembling images from the past. The effect is short-lived. The cube quickly fails again, shutting down and leaving them with the same problem.
I would say that you owe us an explanation.
Greta responds positively to Liv's actions and appears impressed. She offers Liv a place with her family inside the slave camp, suggesting she remain there. Liv refuses at first, but Greta allows her time to consider the offer.
You've done a great service for the Crows thus far. He's got plenty of time to think about it.
Linus tells Keano that Vavvara is willing to speak with him and leads him to the lower levels of Bratok. However, Linus betrays him. Instead of honoring his word, Linus sets Keano up, confronting him alongside several allies who attack him together. Keano fights back and overpowers the main attacker, just as Crow guards arrive. The guards halt the fight, seize Keano, and drag him away.
Why am I here?
I told you that you should forget about it.
Fucking do it!
After securing the time she needed and obtaining key information from Greta about entering Bratok, Liv acts. She fires a flare as a signal. David and his soldiers soon arrive, seize Greta, and take her back into custody. David praises Liv's bravery. Their interaction turns personal, and they kiss.
I'd do anything to get them out of there.
I should have shot you on the spot.
Yeah, you should have.
Keano is brought directly before Vavvara. He claims he witnessed a security guard smuggling items into the group cell and identifies Gregor, the guard behind him, as responsible. Vavvara responds by condemning Keano to death, sentencing him to a punishment known as death by the wire.
Are you betraying me, as this Vornik claims?
Never, my lord.
Too bad, Keano.
Moses presses Elia for answers about the cube and what Elia is really planning to do with it. Before Elia can explain much, Amina steps in and cuts the argument short. She shows them the fusion core inside the cube, and it is completely ruined and unusable. Because of the damage, she says their only realistic option is to find a replacement part. She points them to someone named Bratok, a treasure collector from the south who might have what they need. Elia takes the news badly and starts to lose hope, feeling like he abandoned his tribe and risked everything, only for the cube to stop working.
Shit.
What?
The fusion module is not repairable.
What? The world wouldn't be a better place if you were lying buried where they are. It's true.
They follow Amina's plan, but danger hits almost immediately. Crows arrive at Amina's house without warning and catch them off guard. Amina draws attention to herself to slow the crows down, giving Moses and Elia a chance to move. The two rush outside, sprint to the van, and escape as fast as they can.
I shall join you. Worry about yourself.
Back in Bratok, attention shifts to Keano and the punishment awaiting him. People gather, expecting his death sentence to be carried out. Right before the execution, Vavvara presents something she claims she pulled from a Volnik's stomach and uses it to force Gregor to take his own life. Linus and his accomplice are then put on the wire in Keano's place, sparing Keano. He is not freed, though. Instead, he is moved and taken to Vavvara's private property, a residence known as the Hakar.
Save what is left of your honor, Gregor.
Elsewhere, Liv prepares for the journey toward Bratok. She is given a crimson uniform and officially declared one of them because of her cooperation. Instead of choosing firearms, she decides to carry a crossbow.
Welcome then to the Crimsons.
3 shots per minute.
At the Hakar, Keano meets several men who identify themselves as Lubavnik. He is told they are Vavvara's best slaves. As he takes in the location, he notices the windows are barred, making it clear he is still being contained. The setting is different, but the situation is the same because he has simply been transferred from one controlled space to another.
We are the Lubavniks, and so too now are you.
Using intelligence taken from Greta, David divides his soldiers into 2 groups and lays out a coordinated strategy. Their objective is to destroy the wool factories, weakening the crows by disrupting their production and stability. The attack is timed so that once the factories are destroyed, Liv's group can move forward with the next phase. He also tells the soldiers this is his decision alone, and the Crimson Capital is not aware of the plan.
I have not informed Crimson Capital about this mission.
While escaping, Elijah and Moses run into 3 children on the road. The children say they are refugees from the east, fleeing something called the Black Swarm. They describe it like a terrifying plague and claim that anyone who looks at it dies.
What is it?
You see it, you die.
Later, Vavvara summons Keano and the other slaves to dinner, but Keano refuses to eat. Afterward, the obedient slaves are sent back to the Hakar, while Keano is kept behind. He is taken to Vavvara's chambers in order to undress. Vavvara positions herself over him and delivers a chilling threat, warning that if he reaches the end before she does, she will cut off his head.
Undress yourself.
Before David's plan can proceed, additional Crimson Guards arrive under Commander Voss, who is revealed to be David's father and the Republic's highest authority. Voss immediately asserts control and orders David's arrest for high treason. With David removed and the operation halted, Liv is forced to reassess her next move as the power dynamics shift.
You have been charged with high treason.
Keano later returns without visible injury, though the atmosphere around him changes at once. DeWitt reacts with clear tension, barely concealing resentment as Vavvara continues to show attention toward her newly favored slave.
You've obviously aroused her with your boundless impertinence.
Meanwhile, Moses and Elia continue their journey and eventually reach Bracker's residence. Inside, Bracker's room is filled with television monitors displaying broadcasts tied to Black December. Elijah barely processes the scene before Bracker appears and demands their purpose. Elijah asks for a fusion module, explaining they need a replacement part. Bracker responds by turning on them, seizing the cube, and betraying both Elijah and Moses to keep it for himself.
This is my cube! Our cube! You can't do this to us!
Soon after, Vavvara dresses Keano and the other slaves in restrictive ceremonial clothing and brings them to a gathering hosted by the Capitan. During the event, Keano witnesses his father serving as a slave, subjected to harsh treatment. Back in Bratok, the gathering centers on selecting a new Boj, as spectators watch the violent ritual unfold, ending in another display of brutality. After the ceremony, Keano is escorted to Vavvara's private quarters and again ordered to remove his clothing. Vavvara shifts the interaction, pushing Keano to recount memories of his past, particularly those involving his founder, Chloe, and her death. She fixates on his emotional state, emphasizing his grief and distress. When instructed to leave, Keano refuses. His unexpected resistance alters Vavvara's demeanor, prompting her to dismiss the guards and remain alone with him.
She went to the forest to get some medicine we needed. I must remain here.
David is now held inside the same confinement area where Greta had previously been kept. He remains under guard, separated from the others, as Liv approaches the cell and brings him food. During this time, David explains the direction his father intends to take. The plan involves opening negotiations with the Crows, an arrangement David believes could destabilize the balance between the tribes if it succeeds. Because of this, he privately urges Liv to intervene. He asks her to assassinate his father, presenting the act as a necessary step to prevent wider consequences. He tells her his people would help her.
We must do something now, David. Tell me what to do. We can't give up.
Murder him. You have the opportunity of getting into a room with him. You're the only one.
Within Bratok, Keano remains under Vavvara's control and spends another night in her presence. He attempts to raise questions about the Boj, seeking clarity on its purpose and rules. Vavvara dismisses the top and brings him to a training area to show him what it takes to be a crow. There, she repeatedly defeats him in combat exercises, using the encounters to demonstrate that loyalty to the crows requires absolute acceptance of death.
Are you afraid to die?
No, Vavvara!
Elsewhere, Moses attempts to dull his frustration by drinking heavily at a bar. He urges Elia to join him, but Elia refuses and remains focused on retrieving the cube. Moses then creates a diversion, drawing attention away so Elia can slip into Bracker's study. The attempt fails when Bracker confronts Elia directly, having anticipated the move. Moses is soon captured as well and brought in under restraint.
But why would you risk your very young life for it?
To carry out the mission, Liv is given access to a substance called silyrin. The compound is described as a lethal toxin created for covert use, capable of killing several hours after being consumed. She is informed that once ingested, the poison triggers cardiac arrest without visible suffering. Liv accepts the vial and prepares for an official meeting.
You've no need to convince me, Sam. I'm aware what has to be done.
Soon after, Vavvara prepares to meet the Capitan and travels through the city with Keano accompanying her. They reach the Capitan's residence, where attention quickly turns to the missing cube. When Vavvara confirms she does not possess it, the Capitan reacts visible dissatisfaction.
And you let it slip through.
While Vavvara faces his response, Keano briefly moves away and enters another room. Inside, he encounters his father. The reunion is marked by strong emotion, and Keano assures him that he will survive, regain freedom, and attempt to help Jacob. Duwade observes this interaction from a distance.
There must be another way this can happen. We shall both get out. One word, and I will kill you.
In the main chamber, the balance of authority shifts without warning. Those present watch as the Capitan publicly removes Vavvara from her position, formally stripping her of rank and influence. Control is immediately transferred, and another lord is elevated to replace her, marking a clear change in leadership. Afterward, Keano returns with Vavvara to the main chamber. He tries to comfort her, but she reacts by slapping him for forgetting his place.
And you will get your punishment, Keano.
Elsewhere, Elia explains everything he knows, describing the pilot, the warning, and the danger approaching from the east. He insists that the cube contains proof and claims it can reveal what is coming.
A big threat is coming to Europa, from the far east.
When Elia touches the cube, it activates and emits a strong red light that fills the space. A projection appears, displaying the image of a dark swarm spreading across a wide region. The display causes Bratok to reconsider, leading him to conclude that the cube holds critical information connected to Black December. He releases Moses and Elia, allowing them to leave with the device.
So please, let us go.
At the meeting, Liv sits with General Cameron and shares a drink. The setting provides a clear opportunity to introduce the toxin into his glass. As she considers this, Cameron outlines his position and intention. He states that his forces are deployed to reduce conflict rather than escalate it, and that the proposed agreement with Bratok is meant to secure stability. He then details the specific exchange being pursued, offering Greta in return for members of her family. After hearing this explanation, Liv abandons the plan to poison him. She agrees to accompany the delegation instead, choosing not to proceed with the assassination.
To release your family in exchange, if you want me to.
Outside, Moses becomes occupied with an unexpected reunion, while Elia continues working with the cube. He manages to configure its navigation system, producing a route that points toward the Ark.
Calculating route to the Ark.
Liv visits David, and he learns that she was not able to do it. She tells him what his father promised her. She asks him to believe in her.
The story is not yet over. Believe me. Have faith in me, please.
Later, back at the estate, Vavvara asks for Keano, covered in blood, and summons him. Inside, Duwade is seen lying motionless, his body surrounded by blood. Vavvara places a dagger into Keano's hands and orders him to press the blade against his own chest. He begins to comply, preparing to follow the command, but Vavvara intervenes just before he can harm himself. She reveals that the act was a deliberate trial meant to measure obedience and resolve. Satisfied with the outcome, she declares that Keano has succeeded and grants him permission to enter the Boj.
I'm giving you the chance to decide to carry out your own death sentence. You will take my dagger to fight the Bosch you've earned.
Before Elia can depart safely, Crow soldiers move into the town. Elia avoids immediate capture and follows the cube's guidance. During the confrontation, the cube unexpectedly transforms into a weapon, enabling him to fire at the advancing forces. This shift gives Elia the ability to resist and move forward.
Hostility detected. Entering combat mode.
Moses is captured and subjected to severe interrogation by Crow soldiers who are trying to extract information from him. During this, Elia arrives carrying the weapon formed from the cube and orders the soldiers to stand down. He fires, killing one of them, and manages to keep the others under threat. The advantage lasts only briefly because the cube suddenly loses power, causing the weapon to fail without warning.
I said, drop your weapons.
With the situation collapsing, Elia and Moses flee immediately, escaping the area and returning to the open road.
God damn it, you just left tonight with the cube!
Elsewhere, Liv departs alongside General Cameron and his forces. Among those being transported is Greta, who is placed with the group and again comes into Liv's presence. Before the convoy reaches Bratok, Liv privately instructs Sam to release David from confinement. She outlines a method involving the manhole cover positioned above the holding area, providing specific directions before they separate.
Side wing of the headquarters. Above the boiler room, there's a manhole. We're going to Bratok, and you're getting me and my family back.
After this, Moses changes his stance and decides to support Elia's objective. Together, they commit to traveling south, beginning a long journey measured at 184 kilometers.
Calculating route to the Ark. The destination is 184 kilometers south.
Within Bratok, Vavvara reveals details of her past to Keano. She explains that she was not born into the crows and describes being forced into a barge at the age of 6 against a man known as Bear. During that fight, she begged for her life, which caused Bear to hesitate. Vavvara used that moment to attack and kill him, securing her survival.
I begged for mercy from him.
During the journey, Liv and Greta speak. Liv notices that Greta shows visible fear when the crows are mentioned. Greta struggles to respond clearly, weighed down by the risk of giving the wrong answers and by uncertainty about what awaits her upon returning.
Crows don't lie, girl. You should know that by now.
As the convoy moves forward, it is halted at a fortified crow blockade near a small settlement. The obstruction forces the soldiers to stop. General Cameron steps out and presents Greta to the crow guards, showing that she is being transported as a prisoner. His direct involvement persuades the guards to accept the explanation and grant passage, though the tension remains unresolved.
We come in peace.
Shortly after the calm break, gunfire and explosions erupt across the area, turning the scene into open combat. Amid the confusion, Liv and Greta escape together, moving away from the clash as fighting spreads around them. During their flight, Greta is struck by a bullet. Despite the injury, Liv supports her and guides her into a deserted structure where they try to take cover.
Do you hear me? You will survive.
Inside the building, David appears with armed followers. It becomes clear that divisions have formed within the Crimson forces, resulting in internal conflict. David urges Liv to join him, but she declines. He chooses not to harm her and withdraws with his group, leaving Liv behind.
We'll free your family, everyone.
As the event approaches, Keano is led toward his own barge. The noise of the crowd grows louder as he moves through a corridor lit by bright phosphorus lights and enters the arena. There he sees that his opponent is Jakob, his father.
You and your dear father will die by the wire.
The Capitan makes the consequences clear, stating that refusal to fight will result in execution by the wire for both of them. The confrontation proceeds, and during the struggle, Keano fatally wounds Jakob. In his final moments, Jacob urges Keano to find his family. Keano contains his reaction as the crowd chants in approval.
Find your brother, sister. Build something new.
Afterward, Keano is left alone and permitted to grieve. Vavvara tells him that his anger and hate will make him stronger than ever. Vavvara also reveals that her original name was Sophia.
Sophia.
Greta's condition worsens, and she ultimately dies from the gunshot wound. Soon after, a rider on horseback named Elia appears. She is identified as a member of the Femin tribe and urges Liv to come with them, offering her a place among their group.
They're going to kill you if you stay here.
Following the outcome of the barrage, Keano is elevated in status and formally accepted into the Crow ranks. He is given a new name and formally welcomed as one of the Crows.
Till death!
Far to the south, Elcha and Moses reach a barren, rocky landscape surrounding a large body of water. They move toward the shore, but the cube abruptly loses power. Elcha throws it into the lake. Instead of sinking, the cube rises and hovers above the surface before descending back into the water, expanding into a massive structure. As they approach, an opening forms, allowing them to enter. The structure then seals and submerges, carrying them beneath the water toward Atlantia.